Hello, welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Monday, May 13th. Hopefully, everybody is having a good day so far. Hopefully, all the moms out there enjoyed their Mother's Day yesterday. It is Monday. We have now almost hit the middle of May, and we've got a lot to discuss today on the podcast. This is episode 306 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you, as always, for joining me. The offseason continues to roll on. OTAs continue to draw closer, and exciting times if you're a football fan. Exciting times if you're a Jet fan. Wednesday night, we will get the full NFL schedule release. We've already got the Thursday night matchup that'll open up the season. That'll be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. So that should be a fun one to kick off the 2024 campaign on Thursday, September 5th. But today we've got a couple Jet storylines to open up and get into. The first one is about Nathaniel Hackett, a report from Connor Hughes in a recent article that he wrote for SNY, breaking down Hackett, the New York Jets, and their offseason plans they had for Hackett in terms of trying to essentially replace him. They kind of used it, they labeled it as kind of somebody like an advisor to come in and basically do Nathaniel's Hackett job for him without really firing Hackett, but somebody to do basically what Hackett does, and that is the offensive coordinator. So we'll get into that. I also want to get into quickly, Olu Fashanu signed his rookie deal with the New York Jets. We'll break that down. That was a report from Field Yates earlier today. We'll break it down, break down the contract, and get you on your way here on this Monday. As always, make sure to please like and subscribe here on YouTube. I appreciate all the support, setting a lofty goal of 1,000 subscribers by week one. In a couple days, we will know who the Jets will face in week one. So if you can, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate all the support. As always, we're well over 300 plus subscribers. It's been great to see all the support, and can't wait to continue to make content for all of you. So earlier today, Connor Hughes had an article up on SNY that basically outlined what the New York Jets tried to do this offseason with Nathaniel Hackett. Of course, I guess if you want to call him the disgruntled offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator that isn't any good. And this isn't much of a surprise that the New York Jets tried to do this when they walked off the field against the New England Patriots to close out the season in Week 18 with one of the worst offenses in football, an historically bad offense, not even just this year, but in history, right? Worse than the offenses we saw under Adam Gase, worse than the 2022 offenses we saw under LaFleur, who had the same quarterback issues with Zach Wilson under center. Hackett took this thing to a new level of incompetency. And you kind of knew going into the offseason, fans, organization as well, we're going to try and search for not a new necessarily a new coordinator, but want to bring somebody in to oversee things, a veteran mind, kind of an advisor, to oversee the offensive side of the football, because obviously it is a weakness of Saleh. He is a defensive-minded coach. He's not an offensive mind, and he's kind of lets the offensive people take care of the offense, and you really can't trust what the offensive people can put together because they've shown you nothing throughout the 17 games last year that give you any confidence in Hackett, in a Keith Carter, even in a guy like Todd Downing, who there's some questions behind, of course, with guys on, even Keith Carter specifically, with guys on social media, whatever the case may be. So here is the actual report that was posted today from Connor Hughes. So we'll break it down. So the New York Jets made legitimate attempts this offseason to hire somebody who would essentially replace Nathaniel Hackett. Not as a new offensive coordinator, but a title above who would run the show. And by the way, I'll just say, just hire a new offensive coordinator then. There's no need to make this complicated and hire, I don't know, an advisor or an assistant coordinator. Just hire a new offensive coordinator and let Hackett stay in the organization as the guy that gets Aaron Rodgers' coffee from the local coffee shop down the road from One Jets Drive in the morning. Can we just keep it that simple? Do we have to hire an advisor, keep Hackett in his role, but hire somebody else that can help him? Just make it simple. Put Hackett on Rodgers' coffee duty, hire a new offensive coordinator. We move on. We win football games. But nonetheless, here we are. Hackett's still the OC. The Jets had enough things they needed to address this offseason without replacing areas they're content with. The pursuit tells me internally there are legitimate concerns with Hackett's ability to successfully run things. It almost feels like the Jets are putting so much faith in Aaron Rodgers' ability to correct Hackett's wrongdoings. Sources spoke of many times last summer where Hackett called a play, then Rodgers changed it completely at the line. They figure he can do the same come the regular season. That's a lot to put on the plate of a player, though even one of Rodgers' stature. This isn't the NBA. If there's one major concern heading into the Jets season, it's that. Hackett. So there's a couple things in this article I wanted to kind of break down. And again, this doesn't come by much of a concern. We all know this. We all know Nathaniel Hackett isn't any good. This isn't a bombshell report. This isn't oh my God, shocking news. No, this isn't something that's going to derail the Jets offseason all of a sudden. Like bombshell report, Nathaniel Hackett isn't good. We all know he stinks. We all know he's no good. I don't think Jets fans should be very, very concerned, though, with this report, with some of the wording used. Because if you go into it and you kind of break it down, specifically this part, sources spoke of many times last summer where Hackett called a play, then Rodgers changed it completely at the line. They figure he can do the same come the regular season. I have trust in Rodgers to do that. He did it all those years in Green Bay with Hackett. He's done it his entire career. That's what good quarterbacks do. Majority of the time, they're going up to the line of scrimmage. They're changing the play based on what they see. That's not always based off of a bad offensive coordinator. In this case, it kind of is, because Hackett's play calls most of the times are complete garbage. And unfortunately, with the incapable quarterback room we had last year, after Rodgers went down 4 snaps into the season in brutal fashion, you didn't have a quarterback capable of doing that. But a lot of quarterbacks do that, no matter how good your offensive coordinator is. It's based off of what you see, audibles, what you see at the line. Great quarterbacks do that. Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's a future Hall of Famer. I don't think he'll have any issue doing that. I also don't think Nathaniel Hackett necessarily this offseason has been that much of an issue, or Hackett in general is that much of an issue, because let's face it, again, we all know he's not any good, but it clearly can't be affecting the organization that much if you were still able to bring in key veterans such as Mike Williams, Tyron Smith, John Simpson, Tyrod Taylor, and of course Morgan Moses, who is via trade, but still a guy that likes it here and wants to be here. It really enjoyed his time in 2021 with a 4-win Jet team. Not many guys, when they win 4 games with the Jets, want to come back, but Morgan Moses was one of those guys that actually liked his time and actually mentioned it many times that he believes in Saleh. He trusts his coaching staff. So I don't think any of this is shocking. I would have liked to see them not replace him, because they would have never replaced him, but I would have liked to see them bring in another advisor. There's no doubt. In my mind, I would have liked to see that. I think all Jets fans would have liked to see that. But at the end of the day, he's still the offensive coordinator. And the point I'm trying to make is I've seen a lot of Jets fans today on Twitter, a lot of Jets fans on the various apps kind of freaking out. Like, oh, Hackett, this is not good. We're too much on Rodgers' plate. Rodgers is going to be fine. He's done this his entire career. This is why Rodgers likes Hackett, because he's got all the control. Rodgers wants all the power. He wants all the control. He wants it. He wants it all. That's why he loves Hackett, because he knows Hackett's not any good. He knows he's going to be able to go to the line and switch the play. He knows he doesn't really have to listen to him because he's so much smarter than he is, and he knows that he's just the better football mind. I mean, even during the summer, let's be honest here, you knew Rodgers was switching that stuff at the line. There was even points in Hard Knocks where the New York Jets, they'd have, there was a couple of times where they had stretches of playing poorly. I know part of that was Hard Knocks. There's always going to be drama. But Rodgers would go up to Hackett and basically tell him what plays to run, and it would start working. Now, I know that's Hard Knocks, right? There's going to be drama related. There's going to be, oh, they're playing bad, then Rodgers said this, they start playing well. They obviously cut out many clips of actual practice, but you get the point. Today, after this report, I haven't lost any more faith in this team. It's a little disappointing to see they couldn't bring in another offensive mind. Yeah, it's disappointing that Hackett's still in charge as an OC. Yeah, Keith Carter's still got a prominent role. Yeah, Todd Downing's still got a prominent role. But at the end of the day, all these pieces are going in place because Rodgers is here and he obviously wants them here. And I know you can maybe look at it the flip side and say, obviously, if they were looking for somebody, maybe that means Rodgers doesn't mind if they bring in somebody else to help out Hackett. But you could also look at the flip side and say, hey, it would be whatever, too many cooks in the kitchen or too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, I guess. Whatever verbiage, whatever saying you want to use. I know there's a couple sayings out there of too many guys that think they know what they're doing and not enough people following, I guess, the lead. So doesn't go by much of a surprise. You go into the 2024 campaign and we know this. There's two things in my eyes that are going to that could completely derail the season. It's not talent. It's number one, health, specifically to Aaron Rodgers. And number two, it's coaching. Because even there's still questions about Saleh. I was talking to somebody about this last night. I still have questions. I still have concerns about AFC title game, big moment, big game. Maybe not even just the AFC title game. Let's just say a playoff game in general, late in the game, clock management, time management. Coaches got to step up and make an in-game decision. I have concerns about Robert Saleh making a decision better than an Andy Reid or even a Zach Taylor or somebody or even a John Harbaugh, right? We'll see if that, because Saleh has shown clock management issues in the past. So we'll see how that ends up all playing out. But we all knew this. The biggest issues with this team are health, or the biggest issues that could derail this team is health and coaching. And only coaching on the offense side of the football, because defensively, the coaching is amazing. Olbrich's phenomenal. The positional group coaches are phenomenal, well respected. So, gonna roll with it. They're all in on Aaron Rodgers. They're all in. I do not want to see Hackett here after Aaron Rodgers. But they're all in. It's Aaron Rodgers' team. He's got to take us to the finish line. I don't know what I said there. You get the point. So, we'll see. Hackett's never had a good career. This isn't a surprise. I'll say it for the 10th time. He had one good year in his NFL coaching career. That was 2017, one of the oddest NFL seasons ever. Your four quarterbacks in the AFC and NFC title game that year were Case Keenum versus Nick Foles. And in the AFC, it was Tom Brady versus Blake Bortles. He somehow took Blake Bortles to the AFC title game. They lost, of course, to New England. New England, of course, loses to the Philly Special and the Philadelphia Eagles that year. Either way, it's irrelevant at this point, but really that Jacksonville team was more built off of defense. That was the Saxonville days more than their offense, but they were able to game plan enough. So, yeah, I mean, I get the concern. I am concerned. There is concerns in the back of your mind. Coaching is a big one. It feels like coaching's probably a bigger concern. I don't know. Probably injuries. It's tough because injuries are out of your control. Like, they're just free. Coaching's kind of in your control, where the Jets could have made changes. They obviously didn't. But, I mean, look, if they were going to get rid of Hackett, in my eyes, you should have just fired him. You just get rid of him. Or, like I said, get him, be the designated coffee getter for Aaron Rodgers in the morning. That's what he should be. He, bring in an advisor. How much of would the advisor have actually done? Who even knows? So, once again, there it is. The full clip. And, you look at the end part, that's a lot to put on the plate of a player, though, even Rodgers' stature. I'm not. I mean, Rodgers has been in the NFL forever. This is a guy that's a future Hall of Famer. He's done it his entire career. I'm not worried about Rodgers getting worn down or losing his touch or feel at the line of scrimmage where he's not reading plays the same he used to be. This is a guy that's one of the smartest players in the NFL, has seen one of the most experienced players in football in terms of gameplay that has left in this league. He'll be fine. This team will be fine. The offense will be fine. Not overly concerned. Even though it was historically bad and worse than Gaze, but Rodgers will fix a lot. That's obvious. All right. So let's move on now to the other side to another thing on the offensive side of the football. And that is Olu Fashanu. Got his rookie contract signed today. As you can see here, we put up on the screen for the YouTube audience. The Jets in first pick offensive tackle Olu Fashanu have agreed to his 4-year, $20.510 million, fully guaranteed rookie contract with a 5th-year team option. So those are the deals first reported again by Field Yates, as you could see on the screen. It's always nice to get rookie deals out of the way early. You go back to 2021 with Zach Wilson, although I guess hindsight 2020, we should have never signed him. Should have just got rid of him. But either way, that it is what it is. 3 years later, we got Rodgers. I guess it's worth it. I don't know. Either way, Fashanu gets the deal done. So good to get it out of the way. First round pick. You trade back for him, of course, one spot with Minnesota. Take Fashanu. Hopefully your future left tackle. Guy's a monster pass protector. You don't have to worry about this going into the summer. It always is ugly. It's never good when you go into the summer and you don't have a rookie signed, or especially if it's your first round pick, you don't have him signed. It's just a bad look really for the organization. Like, you took the guy, just get the contract done, get the deal done. So credit to the New York Jets and their front office to get this thing done on Monday, May 13th, as opposed to waiting until mid-July when training camp's just about to start up and he needs those valuable reps. So good for both sides. Get the deal done. Don't have to worry about vesting options and all that nonsense in the offseason. Fashanu gets locked up on a 4-year deal, of course, with the team option for a 5th year. And that'll do it. Episode 306 in the books. Leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on the Nathaniel Hackett report? Are you kind of in the same boat as I am, where this isn't surprising? We all know Hackett stinks. We all know the offensive coaching staff stinks. I'm not any more worried than I was yesterday. I'm confident in this group. I have a little bit of a different confidence than I had last year. Last year, I was very confident. This year, I'm tempered confidence, I guess, because I still need to see it. How many times have we won the offseason and lost in the regular season? So I still need to see it put out there, and paper needs to actually translate to the field. But I don't think this is anything major. I don't think this should get Jets fans to panic. We all knew Hackett wasn't any good. It's obviously not that big of an issue in the locker room because they were able to sign key pieces to their offense. They were able to fill key needs in the offseason through veterans, not necessarily through the draft. And Aaron Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. He will manage perfectly fine with switching and audibling at the line of scrimmage. He did it all those years in Green Bay. That's why he likes it, because he has all the control. That's what he wants. So that'll do it. As always, make sure to please like and subscribe. We will be back for much more content coming your way. We'll have probably, if there's no new news out, most likely we'll have an episode reacting to the schedule, break down some of the top matchups, all 17 games. Always exciting when the schedule comes out. Circle some of those big matchups. I'm hoping for another week 1 primetime game. I always love the 1 o'clocks, but I feel like a week 1 Monday night or Sunday night football against the Houston Texans at MetLife Stadium, a little CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, rekindle that energy that we had last year on Monday night against Buffalo. I'm all for it. Put me against Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo. I'll take Miami. Give me a division rival, not New England, because they're irrelevant. Give me Miami. Give me Buffalo. Give me Houston. One of those top teams. I want a home game week 1. I know some people want San Francisco on the road. I don't really want that. I just don't want to open up on the road. I think a primetime game at home is 10 times better than having to go out west on the road week 1. I get it. You get one of your West Coast trips out of the way, but still, who wants to go to San Francisco week 1? But who wants to watch the Jets game on the TV in week 1? Well, you got to be there week 1 inside MetLife with Rodgers running out of the tunnel. We need to see that. So hopefully we get that. We'll break that down. Until then, Jets, Jets, Jets. And thanks for tuning in.